Yes. Good God. Stay hooked. Stay hooked. Oh God, stay hooked. Please stay hooked.
Hey there folks, welcome back to Kambotrout Fishing. So for today's video, what you're going to see is the action from some scouting that I've been doing lately, trying to find some new waters for snakehead. There's two aspects of it. One is finding the new water. Two is getting out there on the water and how you approach it. So I'll go through the tools first for how to find the water, and then I'll go through, as we look at today's fishing action, the different techniques I'm using on the water, different factors I'm considering to try to be successful out there. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the tools. Now for the tools I'm going to show you here, if you haven't already seen it, make sure you check out my How to Find Snakehead Spots videos. It's one of my most popular videos out there. It shows a lot of these same tools in a little bit more length and depth than I'm going to go into today. So I'll leave a link in the video description to this particular video. But to kick things off, let's start with Google Earth. Now with Google Earth, you have two different versions. You have the web version and the desktop version. I prefer the desktop version because you can use something called the historical photos function. And what that allows you to do is kind of scroll through time at photos of different areas you might think about fishing, and it lets you look at different water levels, different times of year, and accordingly, different levels of vegetation and other things that are crucial when you're looking to find new spots. You can see exposed riverbeds, exposed structure like trees, or virtually anything else out there. Get that desktop version, use the historical photos function, and go ahead and use this tool to find new waters. Google Earth is where I always like to start because that is just looking for new water. You can use more tools that I'll go into in a little bit after that to determine things like launch points and the species of fish in that area. Now once you've identified the waters you think you may want to fish, what I would do then is cross-reference that area to different tools that'll actually show you what species are in the area. My target species on this day was snakehead. One tool you can use for that is the USGS heat map or catch map. The same thing goes for tools like Fishbrain. What they both do is show you different locations where you have confirmed catches. And if you really dig into the numbers, you can find those areas that have the most fish checked in or biggest fish, things like that. Just keep in mind that those tools are only as good as the information that's fed into them. But that's not to say they aren't very useful tools. Now once you've identified the waters you think you want to fish and confirmed that it holds the species you are aiming for, the next thing you want to do is find an app or a resource that's going to show you the different launch points in the area. And there's two great ones for that. First, you have the one that's maintained by Maryland DNR that shows all the public water launches in Maryland. It'll show you the details of every single ramp, who owns it, the hours, whether it's for boats or whether it's a soft launch, improved launch, all that kind of information. If you prefer to use an app for it, you can use the app called Go Paddling, and I'll show you briefly that app right here. Again, it shows you all the launch points around your given target area. Fantastic tool. So presumably at this point, you've identified the water, you've verified the species are there that you want to target, and you've identified what your launch point's going to be. From here, the next step is going to be to look at the conditions. When it comes to looking at the conditions, of course you can use your basic weather forecast, you can look up tide reports online, but there are two tools that I want to point out to you specifically. One is the Windy app. The Windy app has been an excellent tool for me. You can look at a lot in terms of the swell forecast, the wind forecast, wind direction, and how it's going to change throughout the day. Fishbrain also has a tide function that shows you the tides, high, low, outgoing, incoming, throughout the day in any given body of water. Both are extremely useful. And with that said, I think it's time. Let's go fishing, and I'll break down exactly how I approach this water, and you can see the results, and it'll hopefully help you catch more fish on the water. Let's go fishing.
Good morning, everybody. Coming to you today from brand new water. And as you can see, it looks pretty promising. I mean, these are without a doubt great environments for snakehead out here. Lots of pad cover, tons of bait. Honestly, maybe too much bait. I'm a little worried about how hungry these fish are actually going to be because there's that much bait out here. It's everywhere. And thus far, I have not seen a lot of feeding action. But my game plan for today is to go ahead, check out the shoreline area especially, and the underhangs of these trees, see if they're going to be hanging out in these transition zones between the shoreline and the pad field. And while I'm doing that, just keep an eye on the pad field for any kind of movement. We'll adjust fire from there based on our results. Let's see, I want to go right over here. We're going to try and figure them out, y'all. Like I said, brand new water. This is very much a scouting mission. But let's see if we can make it a great day too.
Now, because I checked the tools that I told you about, I knew that coming out here, we'd be dealing with the end of an incoming tide and then a slack high tide. And unfortunately, that can be a tough time for snakehead fishing, especially when they have a lot of shoreline cover to move up into. So when you have those really thick stands of reeds or other shoreline cover that floods during the high tide, unfortunately, what often happens, just like it did here, is I was just hearing them back in there, popping different types of bait. It wasn't until the tide began to turn and it started to push out that I started to key in on a pattern where the fish were slowly coming out of that very inundated shoreline structure as that water began to drain. And at that point, the transition zone I talked about between the pad fields and the shoreline ended up paying off.
There we are. There we are. That's a snake. That's a snake. Heck yeah. There we go. Yes, finally, y'all. Oh, finally.
And leave it to the American Snakehead custom spinnerbait to save the day. I had this thing tied on when I got here today. Then I took it off, looking around at this structure, thinking, no, certainly spinnerbait's not going to be the ticket today. Look at all this structure. Finally hook it to a fish. What am I using? The freaking spinnerbait. Unbelievable. Okay. There she is. Got her. And there she is. Solid fish. Very solid fish. Look at that American Snakehead custom spinnerbait in there. That baby cobra. That's a double willow leaf serrated blade. I almost forgot that I also have a new toy to show you. Let me get over here so I can stop floating downriver. I can't believe it ended up being the spinnerbait. I can't believe it. Ridiculous. Here we are, folks. These are the infamous jaw cranks. Now, there are similar products out there on the market, but I'm going to show you exactly what about these sets them apart. So first of all, you have some basic aesthetics right here. You see that little fish on there? I'll give it on the head mount to get a better look at it. You can get that snakehead just about any color you want. Hit up Rashana Infamous Fishing and he'll fill you in. The other thing that's more important than that, in my opinion, is the functionality of it. If you see on here, there's points. They give us a lot more texture and a lot more grip once you have it inside the snakehead's mouth. That way when they shake, they don't fly out. The other thing you have on here are these points that make it easier to insert into the fish's mouth. Time to show you in action. This is a good opportunity to use it because he has this thing in his mouth and he's clamping down on it pretty hard. Yeah, I wouldn't want anything in my mouth either, dude. I get it. I get it. There you go. And those things are locked in place. And there she is, y'all. Now this one here, and to release it, you squeeze the handle. Out she goes. All right. There's a beautiful fish. And we're going to get back to it.
Yes. Nice bass. Really nice bass.
Hello. Come here, Dan. Come here, Dan. Yeah. Not what I'm aiming for, but I'll take it. I'll tell you what. I still love my largies. But good God, after you catch some smallmouth, There's just no comparison with the fight, man. I'm telling you. Oh, oh, oh. There you go. Let me just snap your picture and I'll have you out of here. Yeah, smallmouth just fights so much harder. It's ridiculous. All right, beauty. Thank you. Mwah.
Now this last pattern that I happened upon here, I've kind of already described it, but what I want you to do here, look at what I actually do, look at where I'm fishing. And if you think you figured out the pattern, go ahead and put it in the comments section. I'll let you know if you're right.
That's a snakehead. Had I trusted my first instinct, I would have caught him.
It's number one. How dare you?
Holy crap, that's 2 snakehead back to back. That was a big one. Oh crap, another giant, another giant. There he goes. Fudge muffin. That one was enormous. How can I get a better angle on these fish? Christ. Giant snakehead.
Yes! Good God! Stay hooked! Stay hooked! Oh God, stay hooked! Please stay hooked! Holy crap, folks! Holy crap! Ah! Oh yeah! Oh man, Giant, you saved my day. Whew. I'm gonna break it down for you in a minute, but this absolute beast. Whew. She crushed that old school kicker frog. Oh man, what a fish. Oh God, what a fish. I had just spooked 2 or 3 of them on this other shoreline, and I was getting really down on myself. But I don't think any of them were as big as this beast right here. Look at that. Look at that. What an absolute unit. Oh my God.
Folks, I almost packed it in and headed home, but I stuck it out for this low tide just to see what would come out of these reeds. This is what came out of the reeds. What a beast.
Well, folks, on the one hand, it kind of sucked it took me that long to figure out the most productive pattern on this new water here. But on the other hand, ending the day on an absolute unit like this fish right here, it made all that struggle just that much more worthwhile. So I hope you found this video helpful, folks. If you have any questions, you want me to go further in depth on any of the topics we discussed, just let me know. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications so you get notified of all my future posts. And other than that, folks, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you this coming weekend on Sunday. for the Medusa Snakehead Tournament by Delaware Paddle Sports and Legion of Anglers. I'll be out there grading catches this weekend on Sunday. Hopefully you give me plenty to grade. Alright folks, thanks for watching and have a good one.